Namaskara. Very good morning. Dhanyavadagalu, Madam Shilpa and Madam Deepthi, both MCs, thank you. Shubhodaya to all of you. Distinguished Makasa committee members, Mr. Vivek Satish Kumar, Mr. Kiran, Mr. Ajay, Mr. Raghavendra Desai, and of course, I'm very delighted to see some of the very pillars of the Malaysia Kannada Sangha here today amidst us. I've just been introduced to some of them I knew before. Dr. Vijayalakshmi, Dr. Chandrasekhar Hospet, Mrs. Prema Natkarni, and several other distinguished members who are particularly from Kannada speaking community in Malaysia. And of course I have my colleagues, Sanjeev Sarma, Defense Advisor, and also Ms. Ramya, she's the Director of the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Indian Cultural Center. Lovely children here who are well dressed to perform this morning. And of course, dear friends, let me start with an apology for having come a little late. The flight got a little delayed from Hyderabad, so I just couldn't help it. But I'm very happy to be here. Well, at the very outset, allow me to wish you all a happy Kannada Rajyotsava. I wish to place on record my deep appreciation to the Malaysia Kannada Sangha committee members who are very energetic, whom I have had the pleasure of meeting on several occasions during the last year or so, for putting together this event, this gathering, which to commemorate and celebrate this Kannada Rajyotsava. And as we call, this is a very important milestone in the annals of the state of Karnataka. And for this matter, on this, most of our states have this very important day where the formation of the states is celebrated across India, and certainly Karnataka, the state government of Karnataka. I am aware of very, very large celebrations that are held back home in Bengaluru by the leadership of the state of Karnataka. And I think a few days back they had a very important function at which some of the very senior dignitaries from various parts of India actually participated in this event. So coming together in Kuala Lumpur in this magnitude, I'm quite, to be very frank, I'm a little surprised. But now my surprise will not be taken for granted in terms of your activities in future. I'm very hopeful that with the assistance of the Malaysia Kannada Sangha members, with the Indian Cultural Center, of which Director Ms. Ramya, she herself is a Kannadiga, I look forward to seeing more activities being held under the auspices of the Indian High Commission in Malaysia and the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Indian Cultural Center in Kuala Lumpur. So I look forward to that collaboration more often in the coming weeks and months. Well, again, I did some bit of homework before coming here. I was delighted to see the very active role that has been played by some of the, let's say, members of the Malaysia Kannada Sangha. Particularly, I've seen Madam Deepthi's YouTube or Facebook posts where of the committee, which talks about how you have organized several events in the run-up to today's event, particularly children's storytelling competition. There was also a sports competition, I understand. I'm sure we have some winners here, which we hope to look forward to see them later now. Well, I think it is the spirit of coming together is most important for all of us living outside the country, and particularly so we are going through a very, very difficult phase, as our MCs, both of them have mentioned a little while ago, that there have been no activity for about close to 3 years. I think COVID has really come between us. But now we have learned to live with COVID. My only appeal to all of you is that please continue to remain sensitive to the protocols that are in vogue from time to time, because it is not gone ever. It is not going to go away forever, I'm told. The doctors, several of them who are here, they do caution us that we should learn to live with COVID, and which we are doing today. But I'm sure this will gradually help us to become little more confident about carrying those activities which we have been doing for these several let's say years together. Well, now let me come to, since we are in Malaysia, it is only fair that I speak to you. I'll take little time to talk about India-Malaysia relations, because you have been very integral part of this relationship. It is you who make the relationship more real than many of us who come and go. I must say this without any hesitation, because it is your contribution. You are stay here. Whatever activities you undertake, you build that goodwill for India and carry this relationship across the borders and ensure that this great people-to-people connect remains very strong, because relationships are not made overnight. They're made over, like I would say, many decades for a relationship to grow. Particularly with Malaysia, we have, as you all know, we have a very special relationship, a relationship which goes back to millennia, and of course we have in the modern times several very I would use the word, let's say, very positive trends that we see in our bilateral relationship. This year is 65 years of establishment of diplomatic relations between India and Malaysia. It is simply because the day Malaysia became independent, India was there to establish its diplomatic relations. So it is the 65 years, and we are going to do several activities. We have started from 9th of September. As you know, 1st September onwards is the 65-year celebration of our relationship. And in this context, we look forward to having more events in the coming weeks and months. Both governments have decided that we will celebrate this as a year-long friendship festival, where Malaysian High Commission in India is doing activities as much as we are doing activities in Kuala Lumpur and other parts of Malaysia. In this context, as I said, people-to-people connect is a very important dimension, and I wish to quote my leaders, the leadership of India, His Excellency, Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, and all other leaders talk about how important is this people-to-people connect. And it was in 2015, while addressing the Indian community in Malaysia, our Prime Minister has very categorically stated that you are all living here are the true ambassadors of India, because it is your word, your actions and your deeds which add value to the relationship. So it is this which is important, and I'm so happy that we are able to, at least I'm able to connect with you. I've had the opportunity of meeting, as I said, some of the committee members earlier. They've been very active, and I only request them to remain connected with us and undertake several of these activities which we do both in the cultural center as well as outside. Well, friends, as you all know, this is also a year India is celebrating 75 years of our independence. A year where we are marking it with several events, because it is this 75 years relation of our existence as an independent country. We are celebrating this particular event. We are not only celebrating but also cognizant of the fact that we have several challenges to overcome. At the same time, where we have several achievements to feel proud about. It is in this context, we have become the 5th largest economy of the world only the last month, and as several very important think tanks, as well as I would call global consulting firms which looks at countries' activities, countries' economic and other achievements, they're calling this decade as India's decade. A decade in which India will, by the end of this decade, will become the 3rd largest economy in the world. And well, let's not forget that, next year, which is 2023, by the United Nations, announcements, India will overtake China in terms of becoming the most populous country. Well, I think we need to be proud of this occasion. Why? I will tell you why. Some of you are a little reluctant to accept this. Let's not forget that 65% of India's population today is below 35 years of age, which means you have over a billion people who are youth of India. It is this energy which is going to translate, which is this going to make India, let's say, achieve its high growth rates. Because I'm just spending 2 weeks in India, traveled to Gujarat, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, parts of Tamil Nadu. I can only feel, every time I went back, just 6 months is more than enough, I think, to feel the change. The change is coming very fast, and it is coming for the good. While we have our own challenges, I talk about 3 Indias we have. The first India is a country, India, which is poor India, where our government is committed to take this growth of the fruits of development to the poorer section of the society, so that we are able to bring the absolute poverty to absolute zero. And I can tell you, in the last, according to UNCTAD, according to several other United Nations bodies, the fastest elimination of poverty in the world is happening now in India. 10 years back it was happening in China, now it's happening in India. So this is the one India we are trying to address. As you all know, the government of India is committed to development, where the fruits of development are being taken to the grassroots, so that we are able to get this particular group of people who are citizens of India, who are able to come out of that particular poverty line. Then there is a second one, which is the middle class. I think the middle class in India is the 3rd largest population in the world. Okay, come on. And we are talking about people with, let's say, the per capita income of $35,000 and above are more than 30 million people, which means we are the 6th largest middle class that we have, which is more than populations of so many other countries which are part of this developing or developed countries. So what I'm trying to say is, we have a lot of achievements to our credit, a lot of challenges to go forward, but at the same time, we as India feel proud of what we are doing. If you have heard of our Prime Minister announced from the ramparts of the Red Fort on the 15th of August this year, that we have 5 objectives to fulfill. I mean, among these are the key 2 ones I would like to state, which are: 1, to India become a developed country by 2047, which means by the time India becomes 100 years of independence, we will become a developed country. This is our first target. And the second one, which is important for all of us to remember, and it is for my duty to share with you, is to shed this colonial mindset that we have had for these so many centuries. Over 2 centuries, I think we have been living under for almost 150 years, we have lived under a colonial rule. We have become independent 75 years down the road. Still the colonial mindset is not out. And then hence, this point was made very eloquently, that we must shed our colonial mindset, become of our own. This is new India which is now coming to shape, and I'm sure you all living in Malaysia, in whatever way you are contributing to yourself and your families, you are part of that story. You are part of this story to make India a developed country by 2047. You will be a part of that story which will make India shed its colonial mindset. So it is here I want to say that we have a very enormous, I would say, challenge, but you all will join us in the government of India to make this journey possible. Well, at the end of it, before I let the program proceed further, let me add here this people-to-people connect. The cultural connect is very important. It is here we will be working very closely with Malaysia Kannada Sangha in the coming weeks and months. And very recently, let me mention 2 parallel developments. For example, recently we have had the former Vice President of India, Venkaiah Naidu ji, was in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. And being a Telugu, he preferred to also visit some of the Telugu academies which are being set up by Malaysian Telugu speaking people. And he was so impressed, and he went back and wrote about the achievements of Telugu community of Malaysia. He himself, I must say that he was very impressed. And I'm sure we will find an occasion to bring some leading Karnataka leader to come and see all of you, to feel proud about your achievements here. And similarly, on the cultural values, recently we still have that group, Kerala, for example. We've had this someone told me that they never had this Kalari Payattu, one of the martial arts of Kerala. It was not here in Malaysia for last 30 years or so. So we've got a cultural troupe from India, sponsored by the Indian Cultural Center. They performed in Penang, they performed in KL, and they're also performing in Living Arts Festival, which is organized by the Malaysian Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. They come to celebrate the part of this. So we'll be very happy to bring in a cultural group from Karnataka, which can come and showcase the cultural values of Karnataka in Malaysia. So I look forward to that particular occasion, and we'll be very happy to support that from the High Commission. Well, with these words, I can only wish all of you the very best in your endeavors in Malaysia. And as I said, as I promised, that we will work very closely, and I look forward to the day where we are able to bring in a new cultural troupe from Karnataka, which can perform and showcase the sort of very intrinsic values, intrinsic traditions of Kannadigas, Karnataka into Malaysia. I look forward to that and wish you all the best once again on this Kannada Rajyotsava. Namaskara. Namaskara.
All the members who are here to make this afternoon very lively and morning and afternoon very lively. The three of us from the High Commission of India, the High Commissioner who had to go, and my colleague Ms. Ramya who is here, all of us enjoyed. I'm sure all of you also enjoyed. Though I'm not a Kannadiga, I come from a neighboring state, Kerala, but I could make out many of the jokes as well as most of the songs that you were singing, and what the MCs here and the organizers here were speaking. So it is a wonderful feeling for us all. And I must also, I would say, give special thanks to all the artists who were there, Deepa madam and her team. Plus we had Vivek and his team also doing the skit. And then we had the four fabulous dancers who actually were defying their age and putting up a wonderful performance for all of us. A big round of applause to all of them. And last but not the least, our little members or junior members of the team, those who were, I would say, in the beginning, the people who had sung, the boy who had sung, forgetting his name, Pradyum. With him, I would say the way he started the song, and the other members, and all other junior members who put up a fantastic show. So the credit goes to all of them, their parents, and all the award winners, obviously. So I got just one or two messages for all of you, I would say, which I'll leave. Being from the army background, I must say that physical fitness, mental fitness, both are equally important. And for all the parents who are here, who have little ones who've been performing today, or the grandparents who are here whose grandkids are performing today, I must just say that you must continue motivating the children to pick up some game, to pick up some hobby, because it is something which you will carry, or that they will carry lifelong. And you must encourage your children to participate in such programs, and you yourself should be always ready to take them out for such functions, because especially for the Indian community staying outside the country, these are the rare occasions when you get to connect with the community. And connecting with the community also means you're connecting with your roots back in India. So I'm sure all of us will take that resolve, or you must take a resolve if not done already, to actually connect back with the resolve, with our country, with our hometown, with the soil. I have to say Mati, it's very important. And I must thank all of you once again for having spared your time and given us this opportunity to see how vibrant the Kannadiga community is here. And as the High Commissioner had expressed his desire, I would also implore and remind all of you that in times to come, rather than waiting for November 2023, so in the next couple of months through the new year or even after the new year, you must continue having some functions, and the High Commission of India and the ICC would be more than willing to walk more than halfway, I would say, halfway to encourage you to have such performances, have such gatherings. And I'm sure in times to come we'll find this Sangha growing from strength to strength. As I can see, around 200 odd participants are already here, I would say members are already here. And I pray to God that for all of your well-being, we had, I would say, tumultuous 2 years behind us, and I'm sure in times to come, we'll start enjoying, reaching out, interacting, and that's very important to not only ensure our own fitness, but also ensure that we as a community we continue to socialize and engage each other. All the best and ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿತ್ತು ನನಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ 10 ತಿಂಗಳಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಮಲೇಷ್ಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ. ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಬತ್ತೂಲಿಯಲ್ಲೋ ಆ ಮೆಟ್ಲು ಹತ್ತುತ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಪಿನೆಂಗ್ನೆಲ್ಲೋ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೋ ಓಡಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಬ್ರು ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ನಾನು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಡೈಲಾಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೊರಟೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಅಂದರೆ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರು ನಮಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬ ವಿರಳ ಅಂತ ನನಗನ್ನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಆದರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸಾಬೀತು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ತುಂಬ ತುಂಬ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ನಿಸಾರ್ ಅಹ್ಮದ್ ಹೇಳೋ ಹಾಗೆ, ಕನ್ನಡವಲ್ಲ ತಿಂಗಳು ನಡೆಸುವ ಗುಲ್ಲಿನ ಕಾಮನ ಬಿಲ್ಲು, ರವಿ ಶಶಿ ತಾರೆಯ ನಿತ್ಯೋತ್ಸವವದು, ಸರಸ್ವತಿ ವೀಣೆಯ ಸೊಲ್ಲು. ನಿತ್ಯೋತ್ಸವವಾಗಲಿ ಈ ರಾಜ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ. ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ನಲ್ ಹೇಳಿದ ಹಾಗೆ ಮುಂದಿನ 2023 ಕಾಯ್ದೆ. ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರು ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ರೂ ಕುವೆಂಪು ಹೇಳಿದ ಹಾಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಕೈ ಎತ್ತು ನಿನ್ನ ಕೈ ಕಲ್ಪವೃಕ್ಷವಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಖಂಡಿತ ಕನ್ನಡಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಕೆಲಸ ಎಲ್ಲದೂ ಕಲ್ಪವೃಕ್ಷವಾಗಿದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಪೊಲಿಟಿಷಿಯನ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯಿಂದ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಕನ್ನಡಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊಟ್ಟ ಮೊದಲ ಜ್ಞಾನಪೀಠ ಬಂದದ್ದು, ಆದರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಕನ್ನಡಕ್ಕೆ ಅತ್ಯುನ್ನತ ಜ್ಞಾನಪೀಠ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿಗಳು ಬಂದಿರೋದು ಕನ್ನಡಕ್ಕೆ. 8 ಜ್ಞಾನಪೀಠ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ ಭಾಷೆಗೂ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಕನ್ನಡಕ್ಕೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಕನ್ನಡಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಅವ್ರು ದುಡಿದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾನ್ಯತೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋಕ್ಕೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ 3 ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಕವಿಗಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಿಂದಿಯಲ್ಲಿರೋರು ಇಬ್ಬರೇನೆ. ಇಡೀ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದೇ 5 ಜನ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 3 ಜನ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕನ್ನಡದ ಕೆಲಸ ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನನಗನ್ಸೋದು ಭಾಷೆಯ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕನ್ನಡದ ಕೆಲಸ ಅಂದರೆ ಕನ್ನಡದ ನೆಲದ ಕೆಲಸ ಅಂತ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿನೂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ನಾಡೂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ನುಡಿನೂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಕನ್ನಡಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ರೂ, ಈಗ ನೀವು ಯಾವುದೋ ಹೊರದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನನಗನ್ಸೋದೇನು ಅಂದರೆ ಕನ್ನಡವನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಪಸರಿಸ್ಬಹುದು ಅಂತ. ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡದ ಊಟ ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು 2-3 ಜನ ನಿರೂಪಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅದ್ಭುತವಾಗಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ ಕನ್ನಡ. ನಂಗೆ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಕಣ್ಣಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ಬಂತು ಅದನ್ನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೈದ್ರೂ ಅಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. ಅವರು ಉತ್ತರ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದವ್ರು ಸುಳಿಮಾಗ ನಾನು ಬೈದ್ರೆ ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಏನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾ. ಮೊದಲನೇ ಸರಿ ನನಗೆ ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಕನ್ನಡ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತು. ಆ ಥರ ನಮ್ಮ ಕವಿಗಳು, ನಮ್ಮ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ನಡನ ತುಂಬ, ಅಂದರೆ ಈಗ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು, ವೆಂಕಟೇಶ್ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಕೃತಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತ. ಇಡೀ ಸ್ಕಿಪ್ಟು ಒಬ್ಳು ಕನ್ನಡತಿ, ಒಬ್ಳು ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತೆ ಬಂದು ತನ್ನ ಕಥೆನ ಅವಳು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾಳಲ್ವಾ. ಆದರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅವಳು ಏನೇನಾಗಿ ಹಳೆಗನ್ನಡ, ನಡುಗನ್ನಡ, ಅದ್ರ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಚ್ಛ, ಹಚ್ಚ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಅಚ್ಚ ಕನ್ನಡಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿ ಅವಳು ಇವತ್ತು ಈ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಲಿ ಬಂದು ನಿಂತಿದ್ದಾಳೆ. ಇದು ಅವಳೇ ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಕುರ್ದುನೋ ಕಂಗ್ಲೀಷೋ ಏನೋ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಅವಳು ಏನು ಅವಶೇಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾಳೋ ಅವಳನ್ನ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡೋಣ ನಾವು. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಳೆ ಇವಾಗ. ಅದು ನನ್ನ ವರ್ಮಾ ಅವ್ರು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು. ವರ್ಮಾ ಅವ್ರು ಬರೆದಿರೋದದು ಕನ್ನಡ ತಾಯಿ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಕನ್ನಡಾಂಬೆ. ನಮ್ಮ BKS ವರ್ಮಾ ಅವರು ಕನ್ನಡದ ಅಥವಾ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ವರ್ಮಾ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ. ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಬಿಡಿ, ಹಾಕಿಲ್ವ ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡಾಂಬೆನ? ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದಾಳಲ್ಲ ಇದು. ಓ ಹೌದಾ, BKS ವರ್ಮಾ ಅವ್ರು ಬರೆದಿರೋದು ಇದು. ಅದು ಫುಲ್ ಬರ್ದಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿನ್ನ. ಇದು ಇಡೀ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವಳನ್ನ. ವಿಂಧ್ಯ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕನ್ನಡದ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋ ಆಗುಂಬೆ, ಅದು ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇವಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡೀ ಚಿತ್ರ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಪಾಪ ಅವ್ರಿನ್ನ ಮುಗಿಸೇ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ. ನಾನು ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ರಿ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಅವಾಗ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರ ವ್ಯಥೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು, ಒಬ್ಬ ಕನ್ನಡದ ಕಲಾವಿದನ ವ್ಯಥೆ. ನಾನಿನ್ನ ಮುಗಿಸೇ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲಮ್ಮ ಇದನ್ನ, ಯಾರೋ ಬಂದ್ರು ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, ನಾವೊಂದು ಕನ್ನಡ ಸಂಘ ಕಟ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ಇದನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೋದಾ ಅಂದ್ರು. ನಾನು ಅವಾಗ ಹೊಳಿಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇವತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಾವುಟಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ನಡದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಇವಳೇ ರಾರಾಜಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾಳೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕನ್ನಡಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಕೆಲಸ ನೋಡಿ, ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಶಾಶ್ವತವಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಲ್ಲೂ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದೇನೆಂದರೆ, ಈ ಕನ್ನಡ ನಾಡಿನ ನೆಲದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಜನ್ಮ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ ದೇವರು. ಆ ಜನ್ಮ ಸಾರ್ಥಕವಾಗಿಸೋಣ. ಈ ಜನ್ಮ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಈ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರಾಗಿ ಹುಟ್ಟೋ ಜನ್ಮ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಂಗೆ ಸಿಗೋತ್ತೋ ಇಲ್ಲೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಸಿಕ್ಕಿರೋ ಜನ್ಮನ ಖಂಡಿತ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಅನುಭವಿಸೋಣ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಆಲ್. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.